Okay, hey, I haven't really talked to the camera, or you guys, I guess, in a couple days. Kind of been shooting a lot of live footage of different stuff, especially animals, and it was really cool. So I just left Shenandoah National Park, and I think at this point I'm going to be less likely, I think, to see a lot of the animals, because now I've left the protected area, the no hunting area, and I'm back out in reality. At first it was really cool that first day or so to be able to get that close to the deer, to be able to see bear like that in out in the forest. But by the third day, I'd seen by that point probably over 30 bears, and God knows how many deer. And it was kind of like some surreal, almost petting zoo, because they would let you come right up to them, and even the bears, a lot of times they would scamper off when they saw you, but they weren't really afraid per se. I mean, they would come right up to the trails, they would come right into our camp at night, and even though I didn't see anything really, problematic, it just struck me as that's not the way it's supposed to be. I mean, bears in this environment, those black bears should be apex predators. There should be one every couple of miles. They should have their own territory. It should be defined between them, and it should really be as quite removed from human beings as they possibly can be. Now, even in this environment of the park is still bordered by forest lands, and there's still plenty of habitat for them outside of the park. So to see when I'm hiking in the evening bears at a rate of one every couple hundred yards, that's not right. And so the system is really just out of whack here in the park. If you've never seen black bears up close, and that's just your goal and your desire, and you don't want to do it in a true zoo setting, then okay, yeah, you can come out here. And I promise you, if you hike the first 2 hours in the morning and the first 2 hours in the evening, you're going to see a lot of bears. Yesterday morning, I kind of ran into a pretty precarious situation where there was a mother bear on the trail, and a family, just really wide-eyed, was trying to take pictures, and they didn't realize that the reason that she wouldn't get off the trail is she was blocking them because her cubs were in tow behind, and they were kind of lagging behind doing what bear cubs do. They were playing and eating and exploring and just taking their time, not in any huge hurry, and not particularly really concerned about the humans. But that family really didn't understand the situation they were getting into, and just the same, had they got between that mother bear and her cubs, trying to take pictures or any of the shenanigans that they were doing, it would have been all bad. So I told them to get the hell out of there. I shooed off the mother enough, that she created some separation between her and the cubs, and so the cubs got concerned about that distance, and they kind of scampered, caught up with her, and then they were all on the same side of the trail together, and everything was all copacetic once again. But just the potential for that situation to go wrong was extremely high, because the family had no idea that there was even a potential for danger. They saw this cute, lovely, cuddly bear just, haphazardly standing in the middle of the trail, and they just thought that it really didn't care about them or wasn't worried about them. And the truth was the exact opposite. She was trying to block the trail so that the family wouldn't come between her and her cubs. you know, I think the bear understood the situation a whole lot better than the family did, and the potential there for just, you know, catastrophic things was there. So I don't really agree with the way that they've managed the Shenandoah, with no hunting and with just no control over the bear population at all. There's just way too many bears. I ran into one of the local Appalachian Trail Club members, and he let me know that, yeah, in the last couple years, they've actually built 3 landfills that, you know, basically are food platforms for those bears. And, you know, I mean, that's what's supporting that excessive level of population, is the bears are, you know, when they're hungry, when there's no local food source available, then they're heading on down there. I kind of told you that the reason that we were seeing as many bears as we were right on or next to the trail was because of the fawns being born. So they had a great food source there. In 2-3 weeks, once that slows down and trickles off, then you may not see as many bears as close to the trail. They'll probably have to go back to the landfill or go wherever until midsummer, when a lot of their other food sources start coming up. The berries come into season, and then behind that, the mass crops, the apples, you know, different food sources. But this time of the year, which is supposed to be relatively tough for them to get food, you know, they've got a ready source at the landfill, and, you know, now these 2 weeks, they've got a really good source in the fawns that are being born. So, I don't really agree with, you know, the management of the park and some of the decisions that they made. But overall, as I've experienced in other national parks that are, you know, that the AT happens to go across, in some ways we're the happy beneficiaries, because even though the trails are still built and maintained by civilians, by the clubs, in those areas the clubs have pretty strict controls and rules, and, you know, so the trails here have reasonable grades, they're wide, they're well maintained, deadfall trees and whatever, you know, get cleared away pretty quickly, so you're not constantly climbing over a bunch of deadfall trees like you are everywhere else. You're not climbing up and down crazy steep slopes like you are in other places. It just was really good trail, you know, and it was a lot of fun. I just happened to hit it, you know, on Memorial Day weekend, and so there was, you know, a couple thousand more people in the park than I really would have preferred. And it happened to coincide with, you know, the fawns being born and the bears, you know, just coming out of the woodwork from everywhere. So, I don't know, you know, I guess I got to see something somewhat unique. And I'll definitely, you know, I'll have the memories. It was nice being in the park because there were the little concession stands. So I came into the park with about 4 days of food, and strangely I'm leaving the park with about 4 days of food. There's some gaps in there that I need to figure out, you know, how to fill exactly with midday snacks and whatever. You know, I'm running short on a couple of things, but I'll figure that out, and we're just going to keep pressing on. There's a couple of hostels right in this area. Some of the people are staying there. I'm choosing not to. I'm just going to keep pressing on, and we're going to turn today into, you know, a 20-plus day and see what comes tomorrow. We'll figure it out. Almost a halfway point, so I definitely really am excited about that, because to me mentally that means no more counting up, actually getting to start, you know, counting down, and as you can see the miles tick off going down. I think, you know, psychologically that's a big help, so looking forward to that, and I just can't express enough how much I appreciate everybody's support and the text messages, being able to call people. You know, it has been really good. So I appreciate it all. I love you all. Thank you very much. And keeping going on, keeping on. Love y'all. Bye.